Okay, so I think there's quite a lot of people joining the room. So I'm gonna just kick off and people can join us as we go. So hello everyone, welcome to the Hospital Rooms Digital Art School. It's really great to be back. We're here every week. My name's Natalie. I'm one of the project curators at Hospital Rooms. And for those who don't know us, Hospital Rooms, we are an arts and mental health charity. We work throughout the UK, transforming mental health units all across the UK. So we work with patient mental health communities and artists, and we transform sort of spaces that are normally quite white and bare into places that are full of amazing artwork that we hope will inspire people and make them feel better. So we normally do around 6 a year, and at the moment these are on hold because of COVID, so we thought why not kind of look at digital ways of connecting with people, and that's why we're doing this Hospital Rooms Digital Art School. So this is running until October, so please keep checking back and joining us for other workshops. So just a few quick housekeeping notes before I pass over to the main event. This session is being recorded, but all the video and sound is hidden, so it will just be the screen of Giles that is recorded, and that will be available for you to watch at any point, and we're going to upload those onto our YouTube channel. If you are from a unit, we're going to have a survey at the end that we would be so grateful if you could take a couple of minutes to fill out. It's really helpful for us to keep on improving the art school. And so what I'll do now is I'll tell you just a very brief intro into Giles Deacon, who is leading today's workshop. So for those of you who are unfamiliar, Giles is an English fashion designer and a couturier. He's the winner of Fashion Designer of the Year, and his work can be found in museums across the world, including the Victoria and Albert Museum in London. So next slide, please, Lou. In 2016, Giles launched his namesake couture house here in London, and his designs have been worn by tastemakers such as Kate Blanchett, Gwendolyn Christie, and Solange Knowles. And next slide. Giles has been supporting Hospital Rooms over the past year, creating some amazing artworks for some exhibitions that we've done about Isabella Blow, and also released a beautiful limited edition poster for us called Reverie. So today, Giles is going to be telling us how he creates his bespoke prints and patterns in-house studio, and telling us all about how we can design our own. So I'm going to hand over now to Giles, who's going to take you through the session for the next half an hour or so. Thanks, Giles.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Excuse me. Thank you for joining today. Welcome to my studio in London. Sorry if it's a little bit noisy. Just the other side of the window here is a big bus stop, so we may hear some interruption, but we'll persevere nonetheless. I'm really excited to be able to show you my love of print and love of drawing. And today we're going to explore the world of print and how to put a simple repeat print into a simple drawing into a repeat in 5 steps. So material-wise, I'm going to use today just some A3 paper, white paper, and I'm going to use some felt tips, of which I've got a selection here, various types of nibs and what have you, but you can use pencil, you can use watercolour, whatever you fancy. Behind me, I've taken the liberty of putting some pieces up just to give us an idea and a bit of a flavour of my drawing worlds as such. So these are some rough ideas. I was working on an idea for a little stamp for an embosser logo. This is a pen and ink drawing here, something more brush orientated, a blown up pencil drawing, very fine ink drawing, some more pencil, a little bit of colour, watercolour. So I think that the thing I love about drawing is the actual fact of doing it. I find it really kind of, you know, just a lovely thing to do, and I think it's something supremely personal. I find it quite meditative, and it's a lovely productive thing to do. So it doesn't matter what scale your ability is today at all. the key thing is that you're having a go, and that's the most important thing. So some people may be comfortable to draw and kind of do it as we're doing the whole masterclass. Other people may want to sit and watch, and then kind of go back and watch it on YouTube later and then do it stage by stage, or work whatever was comfortable for you. But the key thing is to stay with it, and I promise, I hope you'll be pleased with the end results. If not today, tomorrow. So there was a list of things to possibly get, which I've brought a selection of things in. I've got them here. So rather than lift them all up as we go along, I've done a photograph. So I've got, what have we got? I've got some found poppy heads, little ones there, a bow, a cat bell on a piece of ribbon there, a keyring, a thistle, and an old rose. And you can get whatever you want. Get 4 or 5 items together, maybe a visual image as well, and something personal, an apple, whatever it is that takes your fancy. Get a little selection of those together and get drawing. So here's one I did earlier type world. For time today, I've got a photocopy of a drawing I did here. This character here, which I love. This character, I love drawing characters. I think it's a great way of drawing personalities, which is also important. And this is a good starting point. So draw your initial item, whatever it is, and if you do drawings that you like, keep them and put them to one side, because you can build up a kind of library, if you like, your own visual vocabulary to go back to. So, for instance, I've got some here of some funny squiggles, which can all help within the kind of exercises we go through. So some things that may not work, that you don't like, don't tear them up and throw them away. Keep them, because I promise you they'll come in handy. And as I say, it'll all become clear as to how and why. So let's start. We've got our piece of paper here. Don't be scared. The name of the game is to have some fun. So what we've got here is the drawing. I'm going to now draw one of these guys, a little poppy head there. So I love drawing natural shapes. So let's, sorry, while I remember all, start in the middle of the page and don't draw over the edges. Leave about a ½ centimetre all the way round, but don't go over, because that will become clear when we turn it into a repeat. So let's start drawing. So I'm using a kind of fibre tip pen today. But you say you can use whichever medium you like, and however expressive you want to be. I mean, I'm drawing quite a detailed pattern today, but you can draw something kind of big, broad brush strokes, whatever takes your fancy. So get a bit of the detailing of the poppy head in here. So I played with the scale of the poppy head. I mean, the thing I love about drawing as well is that I'm not doing it as an exercise to replicate that exactly as is. I don't want to photograph of it. I want to do an interpretation of it, so you can see the scale difference that I've gone for there. It's, you know, it adds to the character of the drawing and the personality. You want to get your personality through into your drawings where possible. Next one, let's draw a thistle coming south, I think. So let's look at that. Look at all of the fabulous spikes of there. Let's see this. No, I'll try not to sing while I'm doing this, because you'll all vanish, wondering what on earth I'm singing about. Let's switch off, never come back. So let's
What to mention in the introduction is if anyone has any questions that they would like to send through, there's a Q&A feature at the bottom. So if anyone has any questions about the process, feel free to send them over and we'll field them throughout.
Lovely. Plenty of questions, please. Feel free. So I'm drawing the top of the thistle, looking at these spikes, trying to get those, give them some movement. Contrast with the kind of controlled line of the drawing there. And I say I'm drawing in black and white for the purpose of today, but you can do this in colour if you've got access to a colour copier, or you can start with black and white, and then when we put the drawing into repeat, you can then hand colour, which is a technique that people have been doing from you know, kind of hand block wallpaper to, you know, kind of paper prints and what have you for years and years and years. So there's a bit of the teasel on the go. And what we'll be able to use this this repeat for is super in the end, because you can use it as a poster for a wall, wallpaper, a cover books, gifts, all sorts of fun things. So it's a nice way of getting something quite fabulously expressive on the go. So let's try now. We've got thistle down there. That's looking quite good fun. How about this key ring? This is quite a fun one, I think. So let's get key ring down here. I'll draw the leather twisted rope. The key ring. Again, it doesn't have to be exact, just an approximation, an artistic interpretation is all I'm looking for here. The top of the key ring. Draw these studs, there's a little dome one there. Stud. Ooh. Put some stitching detail on there that's not there in real, but it adds to the elements. You see, I'm nearly drawing over the edge there. It's got to be mindful of that. Do a smaller stud on that. Let's get a long, thin one there with a dome. Bit more studdage on there. There we go. There's key ring.
So it's Louis checking in here now as well, Giles. Do you think once drawing that one, you could hold it up to the iPad screen so we could sort of get a look of where you're at?
Where I'm at, absolutely, yeah. Well, let's have a look at where we're at so far. So we've got the figure in the middle. We've got the giant poppy head there. We've got the thistle down there, and we've got the key ring down here. And we'll work back into this as we go along, but you can see how the ideas for the drawing can start appearing. Let's next draw the cat bell on the, which doesn't have much of a little bit of a bell on it. I love cat bells. I've always been intrigued by them. I don't know why, but they're funny things. And I like drawing ribbon as well, because ribbons are great. Could be a strip of fabric, you know, all sorts, anything that you can get to can be really useful. So let's draw the little bell up here. We'll make quite a large bell. This ridge on there. And get this movement of this ribbon coming down. There we go. Back up over there. Try and keep on talking, but keep on concentrating. So, love how this ribbon comes through the little clasp holder.
So we've had no questions at all yet. You must obviously be explaining.
Yeah. Busy drawing.
Everyone's joining in.
Falling asleep. There we go. There's ribbon up there. Ribbon with cat bell. How's that? There we go. So let's now draw. Getting close to the fun bit soon, which is when we start tearing the drawing up, which sounds like a terribly daunting thing to do once you've spent time on your beautiful artwork, but it will make sense. So let's draw this. I don't know what these are called. I don't know what they're called, these things, but they're kind of hollypops.
I'm going to make that up.
Yellow popper things. Yellow popsies. That's
Giles, we've had a question from Annie asking what the drawing is in the middle of the paper. So the kind of...
Yeah, the drawing was one that I just wanted to start from, which is one I did a little while ago. This character here was a pen and ink drawing of just a design drawing of mine, which I thought would be a nice place to start. So that kind of going back to the idea that I talked about at the beginning of collecting your drawings. So if you're just sort of sketching of an afternoon or evening or whatever, and you just decide to draw anything in your mind, a little mouse or whatever it is, you can just get a catalogue of drawings together, which is really helpful when you're wanting to do drawings. So, because sometimes if you start on a new design as such, with everything on a blank page, it can be a bit daunting. And I think to have those previous drawings, as I say, is like a kind of vocabulary, a visual aid to help you get started and inspired is really useful. All part of the kind of process of getting, your own dialogue with your drawings. So there's a little spiker there. So we're getting close to a point now where we could start. I might just put some little kind of detailing in here. You need to look out for time. Tim, who's filming on the other camera, is going to keep me in check that I'm not waffling on too much.
We've had another question as well, Giles, to let you waffle a bit more.
Yeah.
Someone asking whether it's better to choose items that are in some way linked or rather something more disconnected and abstract.
It's really up to you what you want, what's to hand and to what, so it's entirely personal, to be honest. I mean, some people like things to be really thematic and really, it's about this, it's about the seaside, it's about, nature, whatever it is. I quite like to throw a few random things in there, and then it's the kind of style of your illustrations that kind of pull them together. So, we've got a fashion figure of, I suppose predominantly I do go for naturalistic elements in my drawings, but we might draw some meteors in a minute, which who would have thought a meteor was landing here? So, but it's really what's to hand, and that's part of the fun of drawing, is that you can make up worlds, you can draw away to your heart's content.
So we've had another question,
Go for it.
which is something for those that might not have bits of drawings to start from. What else might you recommend as a starting point?
Well, do you know what? A really good fun one to do is to draw around your hand, literally like that. That's a great, hand in the centre of a page, and then you can fill it in, draw patterns around it on the outside. So you kind of, literally as I've done with that kind of fashion figure as such there, that illustration there, just do the same thing. We can quickly do one now. I mean, I know you know what drawing around a hand looks like, but just to show you the way in which that, if you really want something novel to start with, you can just literally begin like that, and then go on with the, say whatever, I don't know, I'll pick some other elements out of my, if you've got an apple in front of you, you might want to draw a little apple on the finger. you know, so you can get things, you know, you can get a good template up and running, and you can then draw pattern inside, you know, all, and follow the same kind of idea as we're working along here. So we're getting to a point now where I think I'm kind of happy with where this drawing is at the moment, and we can start putting it into a repeat. We'll work back into the drawing in a minute, but to get the idea of it up and alive, the repeat aspect, let's have a look at that. So,
we just had another question as well, Giles, just before you get to that. Someone asking about the sort of type of pen thickness that you're using.
Yeah, this is a kind of, I don't know, like a 2mm fibre tip, but you could, I use kind of nothing particularly, you know, they're not special as such. You can get them from, you know, most art supplies and places will have them. They're kind of fibre tip pens, these, and they are a little pressure sensitive, which I like. So you can get slightly thicker line and a little bit thinner as well, which works really well for me. So, actually, I might just put a little bit of detail in here. There we go. That's good. So we've got this here with the elements of the cat bell, the ribbon, the thistle, the poppy head, and the piece we don't know its name of, but Tim knows what it's called.
I made up lollipop.
Lollipop plant, the well-known lollipop plant. So let's have a go with that. So I digress. Let's get in there. So if you've got access to get this done, get this photocopied at this stage as well. So you've got a copy of it, because what you're going to do is tear it up. So fold the drawing over like this, and to try and get your edges, look at me, watch me mess this up, but I promise you it's worked well in rehearsals. We shall win with this. There we go. Oh my God. Right. I have done this before, I promise you. And there you go. There we go. Sound effects again. So there you go. Fold that like that. Now, if you've got a ruler that you need, great, or do it by hand. I'm going to go freestyle today and do it by hand. Carefully, because you don't want to tear across your drawing. Finger to the top end, and don't be scared. It seems like a really terrifying thing to do this, but it is possible. Tear the drawing in half. There we go. Drawing in half. What do? Flip over. Right. A bit like a magic trick, this. Then lift this side over there. So the two outside edges from before meet in the middle. There we go.
You want to hold that up, maybe? So.
I'll hold it up in 1 second,
Okay.
Tim.
Okay.
Honestly.
Too excited.
Honestly. Because what we've got to do is get some tape. And if you just tape at the bottom end to secure it. And at the top end, see, secure it. Come on. There we go. And a little bit, but not to the middle. Just a little bit of tape there. And a little bit of tape there. You can now see we've got that. And what we do now is fold again. So you fold landscape as such. Make sure the edges are touching. Carefully fold. And this bit can be a little bit trickier, which is handy if you've photocopied it, because you can always have a couple of spares in case this doesn't go to plan, which is all part of the fun of the fair, I think, really. But let's have a go at tearing this one now. So we go, there we go, tear, 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 and then tear, tear, tear. Right, now do the same thing again. What am I doing? I've got to concentrate here. So we then put, I've done this right, I don't want to turn it around. Then you put your two edges that were on the outside again, you put those together. That makes sense. Am I making sense with that? So that you then, so they form a cross as such. So you then tape that centre, because you're not going to be tearing any more. Tape it down. And what you'll, so the reason that we didn't draw over the edges is because what you see now is that we have this. So you can see that, that bit of the top of the cat bell ribbon is now there. So that will be attached to that when it's put in a repeat. And that bit of the character will be on this side. And that's how the repeat is formed. So what we've made here is what was a drawing is now what they call in the industry a tile. And I do believe that's what the professionals call it, but we can call it what we like. But that is a tile. So that's all the right way round. We know it can work. So I'll tape down fully now.
Just while, Giles, just while you're taping that, just so everyone's aware, we have recorded a 10-minute version of this, and we're recording this. So if you need to go through that process again, you'll be able to watch the 10-minute recorded version, which we'll be uploading in the next day or so. Brilliant.
That's good to know. Right. So what we've got is the drawing here. Now we've got the opportunity to go back in and draw again. So I'm going to use this, I think today, I'm going to colour in one of the stems of the poppy heads. And I might colour in a bit of the keyring, and you can do this, depending upon the time you've got and how much detail you want to go into, you can do this incredibly detailed. It doesn't, I'm being quite quick today for TV film purposes. So put a little bit of depth in there, and I might do the same on the cat bell. There we go. And I might colour in also some of the eyes of the character down here. Some of the eyes, there's two. There we go. Like that. And the other eye over here, which shows that it's going to go into repeat when done. And I'm going to add now, I might add a freestyle drawn meteor. How about that? The last time I drew a meteor, it's going to be a small one, I think. It's going to be the sort of size of so they've got these kind of quite good shapes like this. So just something from the imagination is always quite good fun to draw in. So we've got this sort of rock structure here.
We just had another question, Giles. Obviously, you're working just in black on white there, but someone's asking about whether we can use colour for this as well.
Absolutely, yeah. You can use colour. The reason I've done black and white is for today, for the kind of ease of getting the sketch done. It's just helpful, but you can absolutely use colour. And colour makes a really brilliant way of getting a pretty exciting repeat done. As long as you've got access to a colour copier. My colour copy is broken at the moment, so I've been on black and white. But so there's a bit of a meteor. So I can colour in a bit of the spacing here as well. And you can, once you've done your line drawing in black and white, you can, of course, add colour. You could add colour now, for instance, if you wanted to add just little splashes. Or you could use lots of colour for each individual element. That's where the kind of joy of the experimentation comes in, and from you know, kind of doing one exercise drawing print, and then, you know, seeing what you like about it, what works about it, what doesn't work about it, and then going back again and trying another one. So you could try a black and white, and then you go and try the colour one, try colour crayon, try a watercolour gouache one, whatever your fancy. And then you'll see and find what materials, what techniques work for you, and what, you know, what's responsive to your way of drawing and doing your art, which is what this is all about. It's all about having some fun and coming up with something that you're going to enjoy at the end of the day. So there we go. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Quickly doing this. So this is sort of like a kind of meteor rock maneuver. Spots in the middle. And to add a little bit of kind of textural depth to the drawing, I kind of quite like making these sort of line clouds. So it's all, you know, drawing's all mark making, and it can be something, you know, this is a good exercise for doing some sort of abstract shapes, which can be kind of like, you know, it could be like a leopard cloud, for instance. You can, which I like doing these because they kind of complement, you know, a line drawing, you know, of something specific. You know, you can just add a bit of, it's a good way of getting an element in there that helps tie a print together, or a pattern, and gives it, you know, a different sensibility.
So just to keep you on track of time, Giles, we've got about 10 minutes of our 45 minutes left.
God, it goes quickly, this, doesn't it? It goes quickly. So I'll keep on doing this here. I'd love to know and see what everyone's been up to. It's a shame we can't get a kind of a show and tell gallery.
Well, we can actually. So we've got a.
Yeah.
We're going to be sending a link to a Dropbox.
Oh,
at the end of the
fabulous!
session.
Oh, I hope there's some.
So if you send them in,
to
then
see what everyone's been up
send
to.
them to Giles.
I bet there's some absolutely fabulous things occurring. And as I say, I think the key thing with drawing is that don't be put off if you're not kind of thrilled with the immediate results, or you think, oh my God, this looks awful. What you know, what is going on? I can't draw. I can't do this. I can't do that. You know, everybody has bad drawing days and good drawing days, and some days you can just really get going with it, and it can be so rewarding. I find, you know, it can be one of my favourite things to do in a day, is to just sit down quietly and just do a funny little sketch. You know, and as I say, those are great things to keep in your, you know, in your little file of things that can be good memories, good things to, you know, these drawings to go back to. So there we go. Now, what we're going, I'm going to keep on drawing this, but I'm going to try and keep chattering as well, because I know time's running down with us. What we'll then do is, when we've got this to a point that we're kind of ready to roll, you'll then photocopy this. And if you photocopy it kind of like 6 times, you can get an idea of how the repeat's going to go. And I'm going to just do, here's one I did earlier, so to show you how it works. So if Tim just shoots over here, you see a drawing that I did there. Then that one below is it in the repeat stage before I did the drawing in that I'm doing now. And then to the right here, that's it in the repeat after we photocopied it. So that's 4 times. So you can see in the center there's the figure, and then there's another kind of ribbon and some poppy heads and all that kind of thing. So if you wanted to add colour, you could quite happily, once you've got it in a 4-piece repeat there, which would be a gorgeous poster, you could colour in elements, and it could be different all the way through if you wanted to. So you can totally customise your artworks and make them, you know, kind of just special and unique and all yours, which is what the name of the game is. So I'm just going to carry on here.
And so that one we just saw, Giles, that's just four tiles, isn't it? But you could
It is 4 tiles, Louis. Yeah. So obviously you could then, you know, photocopy more, and it's easy to see in, you know, when you're jigsawing them together as to how it works. It's super quick, and it's really fun when you've done your drawing, because you're sort of looking at it like this and you're wondering, oh my god, how on earth is that going to work as a repeat? But then you photocopy them out and put them down, take them together, and off you go.
Maybe, Giles, just before we sort of round up this afternoon, you could just hold up that one that you've been working on just close to the iPad, just so everyone can kind of see how that's developed over the last half an hour.
That's where we're at now. So I'm going to fill in all of this area as well, so you can see all of the elements that we've got there. It's starting to form an interesting pattern, I think. And you know, it's entirely, you know, you could keep it a much more clearer space at the back. This is all about trying and seeing what you like, you know, and what you want. When you put it into repeat, you might want something much more minimal. You might want something much more detailed and much more kind of intricate. It really depends upon where you want to go with it, which is the joy. So I'm going to keep on doing that. So I've ended up with some really interesting elements, I think, within this. So I'm really pleased with the combination of the kind of naturalistic and the kind of imagined elements. I really like the scale, and I love the play of the sizing of, you know, these were my original items, but in reality I've made the poppy head huge, the cat bells enormous, and the meteor in there. I've not used the rose yet, but that could be kept over for another time.
Great. Well, I mean, thank you so much, Giles, for this. It's been so interesting. Sort of seeing into that process. I'm sure it's kind of a new way of drawing for a lot of people. So thank you so much.
You can get a gauge of where it can go. So I hope you really enjoy the drawing and the whole exercise of it, and I'm really happy with your results. It's a fun thing to do.
Great.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. And just to reiterate a couple of the points that Tim said, after this session finishes, we're going to be sending everyone a link to a Dropbox, so you can upload the works that you've made. We'd love to see them, share them on our online gallery. We're also, if you're from a mental health unit, we're going to be sending around a survey, so please feel free to fill that in and give us some feedback. That would be really useful for us. And finally, for everyone, next week we have another session on Thursday, this time at 2 p.m. with Susie Hamilton, and she's going to be doing a live dog life drawing. What could go wrong?
I'm joining that one.
So thank you everyone for joining, and we hope to see you next week. If there's any questions that we've not managed to answer, we're going to try and answer those now. So thanks everyone, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.